The luxury habit that killed the Roman elite's children. What if the very luxuries meant to protect your family were slowly killing your children? In ancient Rome, wealth was not just a symbol of power, it was a silent danger. The richest families surrounded themselves with comfort, beauty, and advanced technology, never realizing that their everyday habits were poisoning the next generation. How could one of history's greatest civilizations fail to notice that luxury itself had become deadly? Number 10. Lead was a powerful symbol of wealth and luxury in ancient Rome. In ancient Roman civilization, lead, which was referred to as plumbum, was popularly linked with luxury, comfort, and the growth of technology. Because of its low cost of production, its high degree of adaptability, and its ease of extraction, it was a very beneficial material for use in architectural and domestic applications. Rich Roman families made significant use of lead in their homes, including pipes, cookware, storage vessels, and decorative items. Lead was also utilized in the bathroom. As the amount of lead that is used in a household increases, the household's social position also increases. Regrettably, what the Roman elite considered to be a sign of progress and luxury gradually turned out to be a lethal menace, particularly to youngsters who were constantly surrounded by artifacts that contained lead. Number 9. The use of lead was prevalent in almost every aspect of the daily lives of the elite Romans. The ruling class of Roman society relied on lead in virtually every aspect of their everyday lives. Pipes made of lead were employed to convey water into private residences. Vessels made of lead were utilized for cooking and storing food, and containers lined with lead were used to preserve all liquids. Additionally, it was discovered in paints, glazes, roofing materials, and cutlery used in the family home. Due to the widespread usage of lead, those who lived in opulent homes were inevitably exposed to lead contamination. The steady accumulation of lead in the bodies of children, who spent the most of their time indoors, was caused by the fact that they were regularly exposed to lead through food, water, dust, and physical touch with their environment. Number 8. An extremely toxic lead compound was used to sweeten Roman wine. Among the Roman elite, the practice of sweetening wine was one of the most risky and deadly forms of luxury consumption. The Romans frequently used lead pots to boil grape juice in order to produce sweet syrups that they referred to as defrutum or sapa. Lead acetate, a chemical that has a lovely sweet taste but is extremely dangerous, was formed as a result of the reaction between the acidic grape juice and lead over the course of this operation. In order to improve the flavor of the wine and to preserve it, this syrup was poured to it. As a result of the fact that wine was consumed on a daily basis by wealthy families and was sometimes given to children in diluted form, lead was able to enter their bodies on a consistent basis, resulting in lasting poisoning. Number 7. 4 of the children were exposed to lead from the moment they were born. The elite children in Roman society were subjected to lead exposure virtually from the moment they were born. It was through polluted food, water, wine, and breast milk that they were exposed to lead. Their mothers had accumulated lead in their systems, which allowed lead to enter their bodies. As a result of the fact that infants and young children absorb lead significantly more effectively than adults, initial exposure to lead is particularly hazardous. It was because of this that poisoning frequently started before youngsters were able to walk or speak. As a consequence of this, a great number of Roman youngsters experienced irreversible psychological harm long before their families were aware of the symptoms. Number 6. Lead exposure causes severe damage to the development of the brain and the body. Roman children who were exposed to lead poisoning on a chronic basis experienced terrible impacts on their growth and development. The growth of the brain is disrupted by lead, which also causes damage to the nervous system, weakens bones, and causes harm to important organs. It is quite likely that children who were exposed to lead experienced delayed speech, difficulties in learning, poor memory, behavioral issues, seizures, stunted growth, and recurrent illness. These individuals' immune systems were compromised, which made them more susceptible to contracting illnesses. Due to the fact that these consequences manifested themselves gradually, families frequently assumed that their children were poisoned or inherently weak rather than being poisoned. Number 5. There was an increase in poisoning among wealthy families due to the use of lead-based cosmetics. Another significant source of lead exposure in Roman families of the upper class was the use of cosmetics. Lead carbonate was employed in the formulation of face powders and skin lotions by Roman ladies because they believed that having pale complexion was a sign of beauty and even royalty. However, lead compounds were also present in eye makeup. There were instances in which these cosmetics were applied to youngsters, particularly daughters, with the intention of enhancing their looks and social position. Lead was absorbed by children through their skin and by behaviors such as hand-to-mouth interaction, which further increased the amounts of poisoning that occurred within wealthy homes. Number 4, drinking water that has been contaminated with lead from plumbing. Despite the fact that Roman aqueducts were impressive architectural triumphs, the usage of lead pipes in the dwellings of the elite posed significant threats to the participants' health. Particularly in large homes with intricate plumbing systems, water that remained stagnant in lead pipes accumulated huge amounts of lead. This was especially true in such cases. Children who consumed this water on a daily basis were subjected to low quantities of lead in a continual manner, which resulted in lead poisoning that was more persistent than abrupt illness. Contrary to popular belief, Romans with lower incomes who relied on public fountains or ceramic pipes may have been less exposed to the elements. Number 3, lead poisoning was made worse by Roman medicine, which is number 8. Lead was used as a medicine by Roman physicians who, without realizing it, made the condition even worse. It was believed that lead had therapeutic characteristics, and it was administered to alleviate diarrhea, stop bleeding, reduce inflammation, and heal wounds. This belief was based on the humoral theory. Lead-based medicines were frequently utilized to treat children who were experiencing symptoms that were caused by lead poisoning. This resulted in an increase in the quantity of toxin that was present in their systems. Without the knowledge of chemistry and toxicology that Roman medicine lacked, physicians were unable to identify that the therapies they were administering were inflicting harm to their patients. Number 2, Roman families of the upper class experienced high rates of child mortality. There is evidence in historical records that elite Roman households had rates of infant and child mortality that were significantly higher than average on average. A great number of noble households either suffered from infertility, experienced the loss of many children, or were unable to produce any surviving successors. Lead exposure most likely played a role in the occurrence of miscarriages, birth deformities, frail infants, and deaths that occurred in early infancy. The ruling class experienced social and political instability as a result of this, which resulted in the weakening of elite bloodlines and a reduction in the number of healthy successors over the course of several generations. Number 1. One of the most tragic lessons in history is that the luxury habit became a habit. There was a widespread belief among Romans that lead was toxic. Both the architect Vitruvius and others made the observation that lead miners frequently grew ill or passed away at a young age. Vitruvius warned that water that was transported through lead pipes was unhealthy. On the other hand, these cautions were frequently disregarded due to the fact that lead was not only readily available, but also lucrative and closely associated with luxury and tradition. Roman skeleton remains, particularly those of wealthy individuals, have been found to contain significant levels of lead, according to contemporary archaeological research. This terrible history reveals how luxury may become a silent murderer, especially for youngsters, when there is a lack of scientific understanding of the subject. The Roman elite were under the impression that they were giving their children the best possible existence, one that was rich in luxury, aesthetics, and cutting-edge technology. Instead, their extravagant lifestyles put infants at risk for chronic lead poisoning from the moment they were born. When young people were exposed to poisoned wine, tainted water, cosmetics, and medical treatments, their bodies and minds were gradually damaged. The tale of lead in ancient Rome serves as a potent cautionary tale, demonstrating that advancement and luxury must be directed by understanding and caution, or else they can turn lethal. If you enjoy uncovering the dark and hidden secrets of history, make sure to subscribe because this is just one story history never warned you about.